Alright, so let's start. Yeah. So what are we talking about today, guys?
Well, after another week of MCO, I think we
Mm-hmm.
have a lot of things that have happened in Malaysia we can discuss about. Um, well, let's begin with enforcement now. Police action, since we have lawyers with us. What do you guys think about the how the police have acted so far, and what does it really say about liberty in COVID times?
Liberty in COVID times. It,
Liberty in COVID times, yeah.
I
The
think liberty
movie.
is severely restricted, lah. That's pretty
Mm,
clear.
Yep.
But how
mm,
the police have behaved, I can't say much because I haven't been going out myself, so I haven't actually seen how they have been behaving or how the roadblocks are because I haven't really actually been stopped myself. So I'm not sure if any of you have that experience.
mm,
Well, I've gotten a mixed bag of responses lah in relation to
Mm.
how police has responded.
So
Some
what?
I
Yeah.
think some my mom works in a bank,
Mm.
so banking belongs to essential services. So um, she did tell me that every morning, almost every day, either in the morning or in the evening when she comes back home, there will be a roadblock lah near our house, and
Yeah.
she'll be stopped by the police, and asked to wind down her window and explain why she's on the road and whatnot lah. But luckily with her, she has a valid letter showing reason why she's traveling
Oh.
outside
Mm.
despite MCO. Yeah, but I've also heard from friends that despite roadblocks, they were not asked to stop. Police just look at their car and just let them pass. They just had to slow down and just let them pass.
Mm.
Yeah,
So
so different
like
kind of responses.
depends on the area also, I think, because if I was just traveling within Subang as I should, but I'm just saying, like, let's say before the recent gazette where they say you can't leave 10 km. So let's
Yep.
say if you could go to other areas, I think along certain highways there'll be police officers and
Yep.
army officers as well. But like for my sister, because she was a medical practitioner, so she travels to Hospital Klang. So along that particular part, there's always like a roadblock or something. So she has like a card to show them as well, lah. So that's fine. Yeah.
Yeah, yeah.
Arvin,
I
have you?
do
Mm, sorry.
I do wonder, however, if the how police act differently in different kind of zones. Maybe in red zones they take heavier precautions.
Yeah. So I think Klang is like a red zone and all that. How about your areas?
Yeah.
Like, is it a red zone as well?
Gombak is a red zone lah. And well, the funny thing is, like today, my sister wanted to get some provisions and share with us by coming to our house, but the police did not allow that to happen. Basically, and she lives in Sapa. I live in
Mhm.
Taman Sri Gombak.
Yeah.
That's like barely 10 minutes by car, if that. So
Yeah.
people are taking it quite seriously. Takeaways here have closed as well. I can't buy anything on Food Panda, which is bad because I sleep at 3 a.m. So,
Mm.
you know,
Yeah. So that's in terms of like liberty in general, like. But in
Mm.
Yep.
terms of I think there's another question that arises, right, regarding people being like uncooperative with the police and so on and so forth.
Mm.
So,
Mm.
but what we've been hearing is mostly like from someone else, meaning like someone would say, "Oh, this person got arrested or stopped because they didn't cooperate with the police," but we don't actually know what happened. What did they say, or like, did they really not cooperate with the police? Because some of the charges against these people are the charge is for not cooperating or like interference in the police, interference with the public officer in the discharge of his duties. So, but we're not really
Mm.
sure exactly what actually happened. Could it be that they just were like, saying something crass to the officers, and then as a result they were arrested? I think if that is the case, then I think arresting someone is a pretty serious thing, lah. And it shouldn't be taken lightly.
I agree. But another thing that I want to point out is people are quite supportive of police being quite harsh nowadays. It's
Yeah,
quite
that's the.
surprising.
Hmm.
So you can see that police, when they sabat the what do you call that, minors essentially, for staying outside their house and hanging out with their friends. I know it's not something that should be done lah. I'm not saying that we all should go out and hang out with our friends on motorbikes, but the action towards them can be said to be quite
Harsh.
I say it doesn't match the level of offense lah, I would say. a few videos have emerged, especially from police in India.
Yeah.
They have like literally beaten people with like sticks that are like that thick, essentially, just baton, just swinging in full force. I think these are quite abuses of power. Lah.
Yeah.
Maybe on the police side they're frustrated, they are just carrying out their duties, and it's difficult for them also, and they're also scared because they might get COVID as well. They are frontliners at the end of the day. I can understand all that, but I just worry post COVID we might be more lax towards police brutality than ever.
Yeah. And also, I think anytime you use like caning as a punishment, it's like I think it goes against human rights, like, because it's a form of torture, and that's perhaps one of the reasons why we didn't ratify the Convention Against Torture as well, because we want to keep in that punishment. So I think using caning as a form of deterrence for this MCO, I think it's not very effective, unless there's something to show that people are afraid of being caning. That's why they don't want to come out, you know, because the very fact of them being outside is that they're putting their lives at risk, you know. So I don't understand if they're not afraid of putting their lives at risk. I don't think the punishment of them, you know, I highly doubt that such punishment would deter them as well, lah. Yeah.
I think I guess like it can be said to be like direct action that disperses them, so it like reduces the chance of
Yeah, lah, I mean people don't be
infection.
arrested. Yeah.
So it's a balancing act. I'm not saying again it's difficult to be a policeman in these days, but are you really supposed to beat people to such a degree to carry out your duties? It makes me uncomfortable.
Mm. Yeah, and there's the thing about bail as well. I realized that some of the bail amount that's being set by the magistrates are pretty high, lah. To give an example, let's say for an offense where you assault someone else, maybe the bail would be set about like 5,000, 6,000, so. But there's this case where the bail is set about 15,000. I think it's for the cardiologist in Penang who say he wanted to go jogging and all that. And I think, and then there are a lot of netizens online that are like supporting this, they're saying that, you know, oh, the bail amount should be higher or something like that. But I think people are forgetting that the bail amount is not to punish the suspect or the person that's going to be charged, that the person that's charged, but it's merely to just ensure that the person comes to court, you know, and doesn't commit further crime or breach the MCO further. So there's something that I don't know why. I think magistrates seem to think that they have to set very high bail amount just because the public interest is that there's a lot of public interest in these cases, lah.
But do you think that the bail should be commensurate to the amount of money a person makes? For example, like if the bail is 5,000 ringgit to a guy who's a millionaire, you know, it doesn't tally, right? You know.
No, I mean like because the bail amount that you set, I mean, it does take into account several factors like, such as your monthly income and all that. But at the end of the day, it's just to ensure that the person comes to court, lah. And I don't think that's an issue when it comes to that particular person that had 15,000 as bail amount. Because I think with this MCO being enforced and all that, you know, I think it's very unlikely for them to abscond. And so the purpose is not to punish them. If you're talking about like progressive fines and all that, then it's another topic to discuss, I think.
Okay. Yeah. Okay. Police brutality, man. Oof. So,
yeah. Sorry.
keeping on the argument of more state involvement or more state power, because police is the arm of the state as well. What do you guys think about the JKM being the only way to disperse help towards people who really need it? The crackdown of sorts of the NGOs. What is your first reaction to that?
My first reaction is the question of whether the JKM have enough manpower to distribute this to the grassroots. Because as far as I understand, JKM in itself, under normal circumstances without MCO, so they do not have enough staffs to deal with, you know, welfare cases. So I was a bit concerned about that the food may not be distributed to people who really need it, especially those who are undocumented, you know, refugees, migrants.
Yeah. And also, there's a question that I need to post. Can you guys hear me?
Mm-hmm.
Yes.
Yeah, so basically, they are afraid that there's a high risk of transmission of these coronavirus if, let's say, many NGOs are going about and distributing this food, right? But then there may be a problem as well if, let's say, it's streamlined to just JKM stuff, right? And if, let's say, the department is affected by the virus, let's say somebody comes into work and they have the coronavirus, but they're not aware of it, and suddenly everybody needs to quarantine, and then the whole system breaks down because nobody can come out and distribute the food, then I think that will really really affect the societies that need this kind of this kind of support lah. Do you guys agree in that, or like?
The thing is, I agree. I agree that there is a problem, in inherent vulnerability towards the idea of the JKM. But my thing is, I agree with their premise in that, if we have it in such an anarchic manner, where everyone is now empowered to go out and try to help people. The standard of hygiene, for example, looking at it one way, standards of hygiene, it might not be the same. It might cause more clusters to. So I understand their concern. I completely understand their concern. But the way that they did, I think, is correct. What they should have done is, in the beginning, they must have seen that there is a problem of distribution. They should have identified the individuals or the NGOs who are working in that certain area, and then they should have worked with them to standardize the SOPs. Because the NGOs who are distributing the food and the help, they can do it independently. As in, they have the capacity to do it independently. Where JKM, I don't think does. I agree with Michelle on that. But I guess the heavy-handed way of saying NGOs don't distribute anymore, let us handle everything, not the way forward, lah. You have to be more collaborative.
Yeah, and if they.
But I also have to say.
Sorry.
Sorry, maybe you want to add on to it first.
Go ahead.
No, I was just about to mention that about 2 days ago, JKM did come up with new guidelines permitting NGOs to distribute food to the needy, but with limitations. One is that the food has to prepare a certain way, has to be dry food, has to be cooked, and volunteers are only limited to 2 persons per NGO, and these volunteers would have to be accompanied by people from the defense force. So I think that's a good, I'm not sure, is that a U-turn? From a good move, slightly good move from the directive before that, which is complete prohibition of donation.
But again, very kelangkabut lah. With facing a crisis, don't have this knee-jerk reaction of, we might put more people in danger, ban them. You have to really understand what is the need, who is there, who can help you, and build bridges. It's not the state versus the people. It's the state for the people, with the people.
Yeah, I agree.
Yes, definitely.
So
what would you say about other policies that are currently in place? Not policies, rules that are currently in place. Do you think that there are other rules which may also be knee-jerk reactions, not really thought through well enough?
So I just want to add on the JKM point as well. I think that if the government had the foresight to consult these NGOs beforehand, like at the very early part of this MCO, then I think they could have avoided this issue where they have to once again backtrack on a directive that they issued. So if they could have just sorted this out beforehand, if they've just consulted NGOs, then I think it would have been much better lah. Because there was a period of time in which the directive was issued, suddenly NGOs can't help anymore, and suddenly these communities are left, helpless lah, in that sense. So let's say a few days they are left like asking the NGOs to help them again and all that, and then after that, when the directive was reversed in a sense and a new guidelines were issued, then only these things picked up on again. So I feel that they should have consulted the NGOs at an earlier stage before they went ahead to issue the directive.
Yeah, no. The problem because that's SOP. It's always the state arms who will look at NGOs as kind of like in a very antagonistic manner. Let's be honest. That's what happens basically. We've seen so many NGOs who are trying their very best to work together with the ministries or with other state arms, but the SOPs are just not there. So there really needs to be a rethink of who really is responsible and is capable of helping in the first place. It makes everything much easier to move instead of working in silos.
Yeah. Sorry, just now you were touching on another issue, right? Yeah.
Yeah, my question was that.
I was gonna say
yeah.
like the 10 kilometer travel ban.
Okay.
Mm-hmm.
Yes, I do think that
10
it
km
feels
travel
like a knee-jerk reaction because I think yesterday the council actually said that now police are given the discretion to allow people to move beyond that 10 km radius. So to me, I just feel that why in the beginning you make that a restriction at all if it's going to be subject to police. And secondly, can police do that? Do they actually have the power to that power to allow people to move beyond that 10 km rule? I just feel that it's a bit arbitrary. What do you guys think?
Yeah, I mean, you would have potentially in certain areas more stricter police force. So like certain areas maybe they have a higher chance of going past that 10 km, and then other areas maybe they're more tight on that. So I don't think that's the kind of regulation that you want
I
going forward.
understand.
Sorry, I think you were saying. Hello.
I think
Hello?
Arvin. Yeah, okay.
Yeah, but I could also understand why they would backtrack on it. The reason why they would backtrack on it is because maybe their early directive was not fully thought out well lah. So maybe it's even better. I think it would be better to allow the discretion for now lah. But then again, it may create some problems where there's different kind of exercise of discretion going on within the police force.
Yes, there's no standard no SOP lah. Basically, there's no SOP between police force, which makes things a bit haywire, I would say. I do think that discretion is needed as well. I do not because I think in certain areas, means urban areas, we have access to most amenities. If you're talking about hospitals, for me personally, my housing area, there's a private hospital near my place. So if I want to go to the hospital, I can just travel to the hospital because it's still within that 10 km bounds. But for certain areas where their houses are really really far from hospitals, from supermarkets, from clinics and pharmacies, I don't think that's a very very fair route to them.
The urban areas, sorry, I came back. The urban areas, it makes sense because everything is within 10 kilometers of each other.
Yep.
But certain areas, like in Sarawak, they have actually changed the discretion for rural areas. You can actually travel more than 10 kilometers, especially for medical aid, if I'm not mistaken.
Yeah.
But my question is, why is anything 10 kilometers away if it's essential from anyone? Again, it really shows the urban-centric planning that we have put into Malaysia. Here I can everything is like very near me. I can go get food next to my house or so. But for a rural area, if a person has to go like more than 10 kilometers away for a hospital, which has they don't even know what level of treatment that they can get. If it's only like a clinic day, sir. All of these things are vulnerabilities that luckily we can see now lah. Of course, COVID is negative, but at least we can now see where we have vulnerabilities and we can hopefully overcome that.
Okay. So we have some people watching, right? Maybe you have some opinions about this issue. If you'd like to comment or anything, you just comment below and we'll take a look at it. If you have any questions for the three of us, then we'll try our best to answer as well. Do like our Liberasi page and to follow us for more updates and posts that we might do in the future. So anyway, do you have anything else to comment about that 10 km rule, Arvin?
No, again, I think the general comment is. Hello?
Hello? Yeah.
Yeah.
You can hear me? Okay. So I think the general comment is you know, we can see that there's a common thread lah. The common thread is, you know, don't knee jerk, don't take knee jerk that. Okay, calm down. You're the government, you know. See what the needs are, and then respond to that need with the what do you call that? Best SOP possible. Don't just do something because you're so kelangkabut, you're so terburu-buru. Suddenly you have to like U-turn. Not time to U-turn anymore. Rate of infection goes up again, then more people die. It's a life and death situation now. So be more mindful of that, lah. Thank you.